You want to start with the topics, or we were just discussing sticks we use? I use a Razer Pantera myself, sometimes a pad.
Mhm.
Aria, you use a stick, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I can show you what I use. I use this thing. We're all showing off our hardware, huh?
So Razer.
I'm not sponsored by anybody, but this is my Real Arcade Hayabusa. I really like it.
It's awesome.
Mhm.
And what are you using, Aria? Mad Cats.
I use, look, it's modded. It's a TES Plus, but I've taken the stick out and I've replaced it with a silent stick, right? Which is ideal for when you're streaming, so it doesn't silent buttons, silent stick.
Right.
So I'm not clanking around when I stream, right?
The stick sound is very nice, though. I kind of like it.
Right. And
then you
I went
get
for
a baby that you wake up with your very loud stick, and then it's not as awesome anymore.
Right.
I also got it for my wife, so I don't like wake her up at night with my stick clanking around.
Yeah, that's what suddenly
That
does
kind
to you. Suddenly you're
came off a bit wrong.
Googling silent-proof sticks or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Good
Right.
shit.
So for sure. But guys, we've prepared a few topics for today. Let me show off in our. Oh, here we go. In our. All right. Huzzah, guys! Can you see the PowerPoint that I've prepared for this? I've sent it to.
I love it. We have actual material.
Aria,
Right?
the teacher. The teacher.
Got to be organized. So episode 2, I've sent you guys a copy, so your supplementary material should be ready. And topic 1 we're gonna discuss is, sorry, the chat looks horrible on this, but is TWT Finals predictions, right?
Right.
Yeah. And hold on, let's go back to the chat. All right. So, 1 sec, guys. Let me get this for myself so I can read it. Okay. So, top 10. We have Ni, Anakin, Lohai, JDCR, Chikarin, Arslan Ash, Kokoma, Super Akuma, Owais Honey, and Ulsan.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not a bad lineup.
Not at all. Not at all. So those are the guys that are, kind of in it. But we also have a few dark horses.
Yeah, in the LCQ, like several Pakistani fucking slayers, like Atif Bhatt, the John, Bilal with his Brian. Those guys, those 3 alone, crazy.
Is Hira coming?
I think Hira Malik is coming. I think someone confirmed that for me. I think he's going also. So it's I at least know you have 6 of the absolute best Pakistanis are going to be there, and they are going to do a lot of damage. I'm just wondering how many Pakistanis will be in the top 8. No, wait, only 1 can qualify. That's true from the LCQ. But I'm thinking a Pakistani will take the LCQ. That's my bet, at least. And I think, I don't know. What do you guys think about the LCQ, the Saturday tournament there?
I think that there's going to be a lot of Akumas near the top.
Even with the nerf, so strong.
Even with the nerf, I would. That's probably something we should talk about. Is that something to bring up now? How do you feel about the Akuma nerf? Do you think it was enough? Do you think it was appropriate?
I mean, for topic 2, we're gonna dive into balancing, but I can just say quickly that he's still top 1, most likely. I think.
Yeah. I'd still put him at the top.
And they couldn't and shouldn't have done anything drastic right before the finals.
Yeah.
Right. I think what they did is very measured and well thought out. I mean, if they take, like, a lot of people complain about his down 2 to fireball cancel, but if they'd removed that, it would have fundamentally changed the character.
Definitely.
In the middle of a tournament, yeah.
Right, and that justifiably would have had people up in arms, I think.
Especially like if you're working on your anti-Akuma strats, right? And then they change subtle things about the actual moves. The bar is on the screen, and so you can, as the opponent, look at it and know exactly what's going on. So it's the only real viable nerf that they could do right now.
Yeah, but I mean, just removing that down too, like what would that do? His combo route, the death combo, would suddenly be impossible, I think, to do in tournaments, because suddenly you have to do the standing too. That's 15 frames, and I think that's frame perfect. It wouldn't be tournament viable suddenly with a big combo. He wouldn't have a 12 frame punish anymore that goes into the combo route, which is the down two. He wouldn't have the best keep out in the game, just spamming down two into Tatsu. So it would fix so many things. But as Arya said, like, it's basically sawing off his legs a little bit.
Sure. Guys, can I quickly address something in the chat? Yeah, I know my audio's out of sync. Apologies about that. That's I must have a 400 millisecond delay because I had to feed it in through a different input. Sorry about that. I know it must be a bit annoying. Next time we'll definitely do a mic check before starting this up. So
part of the charm.
Apologies. Just imagine I'm in a parallel universal or something. But the thing with the down two is that it just had so much utility in so many different ways. It was a crutch combo extender for FAD cancels. You didn't have to do the super tight back one cancels.
Right.
Sorry, the FADC to back one. As you said, a keep out tool, a whiff punisher, a panic move. It did everything, right?
Yeah,
it does everything.
We will see a lot of Akumas, and with the nerf, I feel like it doesn't make me puke anymore seeing Akumas. But I just hope it isn't, LCQ finals for Akumas. Top 8, sorry. But I'm super hyped for the tournament. All the best players are there. I'm really looking forward to seeing Anakin. He's been doing so well this year. I'm really rooting for him as he's from the US. I can't help but be partisan here. And of course, the trailers we're going to watch, like Leroy, finally proper character reveal trailer. And maybe we'll see the 2 remaining characters. What are those going to be? So I'm super ecstatic about it. I think it's going to be great, and I think we're going to do that. They show the reveal trailer for Leroy. Release when? Tomorrow. I wouldn't surprise me if they do that.
Really?
No, I think they might do that. They've said he's supposed to be released in December. So,
wow.
Yeah. I had a hilarious thought earlier that what if they reveal Leroy and he turns out just to be a model swap for Wang? How disappointed would everyone be?
Except for Frame Whisper, he's like,
Wang, me and Eris will be happy.
What if he's basically Wang with just 5 new moves?
Exactly.
He could be a completely new character with 5 Wang moves, and that would be pretty cool.
Wang's old student from his frat days in New York City, hanging out with the gangs.
I kind of love the idea and the look of Leroy, as long as he's interesting enough, and not overpowered or underpowered. I think I'm just going to be super happy to have him.
Yeah, but they know that the community are up in arms about him. So I'm thinking, are they going to buff him now like crazy before release because everyone is so hyped?
I said that in the last episode. I think there's a risk of that. Like even famous rappers and stuff are dressing up as him.
Yeah,
and Namco tends to respond to that kind of thing. When a character is getting a lot of attention, they tend to end up strong. So, I hope it's not, next tournament we have the Akuma problem, but with Leroy instead. Would be sad.
Yeah, but as you mentioned that cosplay, can you tell me the last time you saw an original Tekken character revealed and you saw this response? When was that?
Well, not for a single of the original characters in Tekken 7, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
No, there was no
for sure. I think he's one of the
artists dressing up as Kazumi.
Right, but he's one of the strongest character designs to come out of the series in a long time. I think it's totally understandable why people are so excited about him. We talked a bit about this last time, but he's just so well considered. His tattoos, his cane. He really seems to be a character with with legitimate thought put into him, with a real history.
I bet
And
they
he's just
actually
cool.
watched,
He's just cool.
They probably actually watched blaxploitation movies. They named him Leroy. My Name's Dolomite came out with Eddie Murphy. I used to love Rudy Ray Moore movies and Pam Grier and films like that. So I love that, there's like designs like Josie Rizal when you want to make a Filipino character. So you name it after a famous Filipino, you make her the color of the Filipino flag. But there's something like Leroy where you're actually kind of trying to tap into some sort of creative vein and some sort of vision and be a little bit more inspired, which I think is really cool.
It doesn't feel super safe.
No.
It's like Shaheen. Great, a Middle Eastern character. I love it, but he's so bland. There's no personality whatsoever. Whereas
Very
Leroy
little,
oozes personality.
Yeah,
for sure. And we talked a bit about this last week, but there seemed to be a lot of creative stifling when it came to Shaheen. I think they had to be very careful about how they presented him, for the same reason that Miguel doesn't wear the Matador outfit anymore. There's,
right.
You have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Right.
And the reason Roger Jr. is not in the game at all.
Yeah. We can't anger PETA. We're beating up on a kangaroo in a video game. It's so sensitive these days, but this goes into everything, movies, every other video game. You got to be real careful now how you portray different cultures and regions in the world. And Harada has many times expressed, being very, very careful with that. So it's very unfortunate.
I think another reason is that stuff has not, it's nearly as far in Japan as it has in the West yet. And so I think Japanese creators understand it less. And so they have to be even more careful because it's much, much easier for them to have a misstep. There's the most famous comedy show in like all of Japan. They do it every New Year's called Gaki no Tsukai.
Right.
The biggest comedy event of the year, and the most like famous stand-up comedian in Japan, Hamada, he did that show in blackface last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like was like when it came on the TV, like everybody was just like, in 2019, wow, they're so out of touch.
Fuck? I know. Yeah.
Wouldn't fly anywhere else in the world. Did it even work out for him in Japan? Like, wow.
In Japan, yes.
Oh,
in Japan, yes. Yeah, in Japan, yes.
Well,
but that show gets international attention, so a lot of people were upset. But in Japan, fine. You can say whatever you want about black people.
I love Japan, but some things are so off. It's like the age of consent, 13.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
It is. No, it is. It's when I learned that, I just went, Jesus. It's
about. You have to consider that Japan has, been an isolated country for much of its history.
Yes.
And the connection between blackface and slavery, it's not there in Japan, basically.
Yeah.
That negative association is not there. But that's not to excuse it.
No.
Because ignorance is not, I'm not trying to excuse the ignorance, but there's no malice behind it.
Right.
It's literal ignorance. Yeah, it's literal ignorance.
Yeah. But I wanted to touch upon when we talked about it being sensitive, how you portray certain characters. I just wanted to quickly get into, we talked about female characters on the Discord, I think, a few days ago. And I've always had this idea about Tekken's female roster, that how come the males are 21 to 79? The females are 16 to 24? They have all the same body type, super thin waist, big boobs, curvy behind. They are all super pretty doll faces, whereas the men come in all shapes and forms. And I find that to be so incredibly bland. And then it was interesting to see in Mortal Kombat 11, right? I think they dressed up the women. So they weren't, bikini bathing, big tit females that you usually get in video games. That's very dull. They dressed them up. And then there was some uproar in the community saying like, oh, this is PC. But I was like, I kind of liked it. I don't know.
I liked it. I liked it too.
Is it because it's an artistic choice, or is it because you want people to like your game and give you pats on the back for being progressive with it?
Yeah.
I really like the redesigns for Mortal Kombat 11. because I mean, a lot of the female characters, they actually look like warriors now. It's a fighting game.
And did they just release Sindel, who's like a very old woman, right?
Yeah, it's Katana's mother. I mean, that's the other thing, you know, in a fighting game, men can be old, they can be fat, they can be ugly, they can come in all shapes and all sizes, but women, it's just generally one shape, one size, generally one type of face as well. And yeah, it's boring, it's dull. I mean, it's a bit of variety would be great. Not to mention the you know, the subtext behind it, what it's trying to.
Yeah,
right.
The most hilarious case of that, I think, in Tekken is Nina, because she's been in the games from the start, and she's supposed to be, I don't know, in her 50s, and she's like the one girl who's been cryogenically frozen so that she can look 30 years younger than she is.
Because
the legacy they'll go to,
Nina.
right?
We can't let her go. She can't leave a series.
But it would be super cool.
Are we
freeze her
for Tekken Free? Exactly. Freeze her. And then it's like, what happened?
I was frozen
Anna?
today.
She was also frozen. It's like,
how hype would you be, though? I think it would be so awesome if the Tekken 7 reveal for Nina came out and she has an actual gray streak in her hair and there are lines on her face.
Cool. Would give her personality.
Cool. But she's still red. That would be so awesome.
But dude, talking about lines in the face, I made a video a while ago. I did a reaction to a YouTube video where it was an AI who ranked the Tekken 7 roster in terms of beauty. Wow. And I showed it to my girlfriend, and she was like, all of the males came along. They scored lower than the females. Yeah. And they have all sorts of expressions in their face, lines, wrinkles, hair, you know, very different facial features and bone structure. I mean, Fengwei, for God's sake. And then the females come, and my girlfriend just immediately reacts after seeing 10 of them, like, you do realize not a single one of them has a single line in their face or wrinkle. They are all perfectly smooth and flat, and those lines actually give character and personality. It's this doll face thing where I'm like,
it's boring. Yeah.
And then it's the thing where it's, you know, it's a video game and it's supposed to you know, be this. It shouldn't be forced to conform to progressive agendas or anything either. So it's this really difficult thing. I just want to feel like I do with Leroy, that there's an artist with some sort of inspired vision on the other side trying to make something that looks cool.
Right.
And if that comes out in the shape of 16-year-old robots and stuff like that, and it's cool, and that's fine, but I think it would be cool if there was room for like more different, you know, creative visions of that sort.
Right.
Because people get very angry about, you know, Katarina, the way the clothes that she wears. I actually kind of like that about her, because she's supposed to be this like aggressively sort of bitchy, in your face kind of thing, and that's why she has her tits out. It's kind of part of that energy.
Just to make clear, there's nothing wrong or bad about sexuality being expressed in a video game, but it's more just the uniformity of it. It's when every female character is always like, when sexuality is the forefront of every female character, it's just dull, and it's one note, and you know,
I'd be down for a male stripper character as well, like hypersexualized dude who's like the male Katarina. He's like, you know, he has this giant dick energy and he's all sleazy.
But isn't that like Miguel and Magic Mike Jin, you know, with his exposed perfect pecs?
Well,
sure. The male characters
outfit to me, you know, is
it kind of does,
yeah.
And then there's the Asian version of that is Lee, of course, with the more effeminate, elegant, you know, kind of or version of that, the K-pop version of it.
It's just that you have characters like Lee and Hwarang and Jin who are like, they're clearly sexualized in their own way, but then you also have characters like Heihachi, right? And you have characters like Bob, and you have characters like
Paul, you know, and I would just, to me personally, I would be so positively surprised if Tekken 8 revealed, oh, look, it's Dragunov's Russian general, and it's a female. She's 49. She's a little bit wrinkled and weathered. She wears a full uniform, and she has really cool sambo. I would be like, awesome, you know. I'd love to play
And she doesn't have nice hair or anything. She wears a hat, or she has a crew cut because she's in the military.
She's super practical. She doesn't even have makeup. She's a different type of female, you know.
Master Dragunov.
Yeah.
I'm super
Would be
down.
really cool. Yeah.
Master Dragunov. I love that. That's cool.
Super down for Master Dragunov. You know, one character design that Harada has always been saying that he wanted to put in but abandoned at some point is Ganmi-chan, which is the female sumo wrestler who trains under Gon Ryu.
Huh.
Oh. And she was in the poll for the Tekken Revolution character, and like nobody voted for her. There's one pencil sketch of fan art, and she looks pretty cool, but she would be like a small, lighter female character with Gon Ryu's move list, I guess. But I looked that up, like female sumo, because you have to have a huge bulk to do sumo. But it's a thing, and those women are fucking strong. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, but
I've never actually seen female sumo. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of that poll, right? There was a poll to decide who was going to be the Tekken Revolution original character. There were a lot of designs, I remember. And the community voted for Eliza.
Exactly. Because they have fantastic taste, and they're all gentlemen.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I would have won. I wanted the female psychotic Lars woman to win. And then there was one of the other ones was the zombie of Miguel's dead sister, and I thought both of those ideas were actually more fun. So I would have preferred that.
Does anybody have a chat? Can you possibly find a link to this? I'm really curious to put these on screen right now. It sounds really, really cool.
There is concept art for the zombie bride, but the concept art for female Tekken Force, her name, the female Lars, is amazing. She's so cool.
Awesome. I think I remember the motivation why people wanted Eliza. Would make a great cosplay. Okay. I think that was it, to be honest. Okay.
Yeah. No, I play Eliza. I'm gonna call her Eliza too. I hate the pronunciation Eliza. It sounds weird, and it's so close to Elisa that it becomes impossible. But Eliza, I like to play her, but she was one of the least interesting designs in that poll by far.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it like?
But you're an Elisa player.
Yeah. But and I'll be honest with you, I'm not even stoked about the fact that she has meter. I wouldn't mind if she lost that. There's just something, I have a bug. I really enjoy her, but you could take the stuff I really like about her and stick it on a more interesting looking character.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're more interested in Eliza, whatever, from a gameplay perspective, not from a character design perspective.
That kind of a succubus / vampire, it's so Japanesey, because somebody asked Harada in an interview where she's from, and he said from hell. And if you look at like European mythology of vampires, demons and succubi and vampires are very different entities. But here it just becomes like a mishmash of European stuff. She has large devil horns, which is a succubus thing, but she has no tail. I would have preferred if they made her. The coolest thing they could have done to really get me on board with the visual design of that character is make her a full-on succubus. Name her Lilith, after the first of the actual succubi, and give her goat's legs with hooves. And a little tail, and make her but that's a little bit satanic. And then the Christian people get very sensitive. But those running attacks, like her slash kick, if she had goat legs with big hooves and she smashes into you with that would have been so awesome.
Right.
Yeah, but goat legs are hard to cosplay.
Yeah.
But she's supposed to be from hell. It's the first time I hear this, but then you
official,
have
That sounds awesome. That sounds actually awesome.
Devil Kazuya, Kazumi, they are all supposed to be a bit threatening. And so then you have also from hell, Eliza, who falls asleep mid-fight.
Exactly. Are they from the same
really
hell?
Bizarre mechanic.
The difference in tone is a little bit like, I don't know.
The lore isn't deep. I think he also said in some interview, we try to give each character at least one gimmick. So Eliza sleeps, but Josie cries a lot, and that's that's character backstory in Tekken. That's what we get.
I really dislike that Josie's thing is crying a lot. I just find it so pathetic.
What is that?
It's so demeaning. I mean, why? She acts like a 6-year-old girl. I mean, it's just.
But she's supposed to be like 18, right? Or
it's disappointing. Yeah, I found that really disappointing.
18-year-olds don't cry perhaps like that. There are a lot of designs in the game where I'm just, and Eliza is just one of them. I'm like, what is this? And I think when she was released in Revolution, very very lonely and sweaty man sat down and collected those blood. I don't remember. It was
blood vials. Oh my god, like, the blood packs.
Seals. Thank you.
Seals. Sorry.
I got them all.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of them. Oops. And then they sat like this for 3 weeks because you needed 1,000,000 years to collect enough of these. And then finally you got the big boobs. Wasn't that what it was?
If you got, I think 500 or 1,000 blood seals, you could unlock the blood-inflated tits. I love the idea of a vampire who drinks a lot of blood and then the tits become bigger. But wouldn't that make him all purple and shit?
It's so unbelievably stupid that.
Yeah, it is.
Whose idea was that? I'd love to meet that game designer. Tits.
Interesting comment. Yeah. I'm a Filipino, and women here are too dramatic. Look up Gretchen Barreto. I mean, yeah, but are all Filipino women like this?
If you cut open Elisa's tits when she has the big, she just leaked like a gallon of blood all over the floor.
I mean, imagine the weak spot. Yoshi just dabs with his sword and all of her life force just...
slice.
Yeah, Jesus. I like this conversation.
Did we get off topic?
Wait. This is the topic we were on, and this is where we are now.
Exactly.
So
that's exactly why this is a good podcast. This is why this podcast can go far.
Yeah. Topic 5, Eliza's tits. Okay, we've covered that one.
I think that a wise honey's going to win the whole thing.
I agree. I mean, I think finals is going to be a wise versus low high. I think that Arslan, by his own admission, is a bit rusty now.
Yeah,
he's kind of I would say he's probably in the Rocky 3 stage where he's won Evo, he's won both Evos, and now he has to hold on to the crown, which is it's its own kind of challenge, right?
Yeah.
So I guess he's fighting a bunch of clubber-langs right now, but yeah, I think low high. I mean, I don't think. I think both low high and Awai seem really a step above most other players I see right now.
Exactly.
But it's really between right. But there are so many others. It's basically low high and a bunch of really strong Pakistani players.
Yeah,
and they could take it.
But so you place low high above knee in terms of chances of taking this? Oh, you do?
I think.
Okay, but has he ever beaten knee in tournament? Have I missed something? Or maybe knee is rusty now. I don't know. But knee usually, from what I've seen, just always beats low high. But low high is very consistent with a lot of other matchups. Maybe knee has trouble with. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for the Pakistanis. I just feel they are one step above everyone else, and I think Atif Butt will probably take the LCQ. His Akuma is just. I don't know if you saw him play versus Super Akuma. He 10-0'd him.
That was
it's just scary to watch. It's scary. Yeah. So I wouldn't surprise me if you
so scary. The Super Akuma was like the scariest guy for a short while when people started noticing Akuma.
And he's super good. But Atif and those guys, one step above.
And then somebody shows up and just the Matrix on him for, 10 rounds. It was insane,
And Tokyo Masters, Atif Butt beats Avais quite convincingly. And then, it's just... a lot of stuff can happen, and it's super hard to predict it. But... it's going to be amazing. I know that much.
They're all top class players. I mean, we can never count out someone like JDCR, especially with Season 3 Dragunov.
What about JDCR?
Yeah, right. Season 3 Dragunov. It's so incredibly powerful, right? I think likeliest probability. I think we'll definitely see an Akuma in grand finals, whether it's Atif Butt or a Weiss Honey. That's a very high percentage of that.
Right.
Other strong contenders. I mean, the reason I say low high is because I think he's basically kind of created a new way of playing Tekken,
right.
where he combines offense and defense at the same time, and he stays so safe whilst constantly placing pressure on you.
Mix-ups, mix-up after mix-up.
The way he uses movement with Shaheen's down forward one and his new while standing one, which is one frame faster, it's so refined. It's all in the micro steps, his success with Shaheen.
Yeah.
And he's so good at adaptation. So, you can never count him out.
I think he couldn't beat Honey pre-nerf, pre-Akuma nerf, but I think he sort of kept up and he took a couple of rounds, and after the nerf, maybe that's big enough that he can edge him out.
Right. Yeah, it's a 25% nerf really going to make a difference.
I still think Honey's stronger because watching that game, it felt like even though they went back and forth, Honey seemed more confident, more calm, and it felt like Lowhigh was fighting for his life. But that meter nerf, if it's close, that could be enough.
And whenever I play Akuma, I mean, even I don't know. It's like I don't really feel the nerf that much. It just still seems to build meters so fast, especially when he takes damage. Geese, you really feel it if you lose 2 rounds in a row. Like, you might not even have a bar, depending on how much damage you dealt. But I also want to mention that the Japanese also, like Naroma and Nobi. I think those guys are really good. They could probably get some good things done as well at the finals. But yeah, I think it's going to be a Pakistani tournament.
Yeah,
for sure.
Overall,
for sure. I mean, there's no denying. I think
it's like I wouldn't be surprised if grand finals is one Pakistani versus another.
That would be Weiss, Atif, Akuma. I mean, that wouldn't look good for the Tekken scene, but it's a strong possibility.
If we're still talking about Akuma, we talked about that meter nerf earlier and how it was really the only viable change they could make in the middle of the tournament season.
Right, right.
Which is the reason I think it's a good choice, but I also think it's a bad choice. And I hope that they do actual bigger nerfs after the tour is done, because Akuma has been patched and changed and hot fixed something like 6 or 7 times. And when you do that to a character and it's still broken enough that you have to nerf it mid-season, I think it's a very strong indication that the people who are developing the character don't really know what they're doing a lot of the time.
Right.
And so I think what they should do is send a big fat check to one of these Pakistani guys and say, we'll pay you to come over here and tell us how this character actually works and pay you to ruin him for us.
Well, I mean, they do see down to Fireball as a bug. They thought it was like, they just missed this. This is going to get patched. That's what everyone tells me they said with the vanilla launch of Tekken 7. But it never happened. So everyone was like, okay, let's everyone play Akuma now. The character on launch could actually combo demon flips. So without bar, he did half-life.
I remember,
completely absurd. Yeah, I was in arcades to see that. And then they nerfed him, and all of the community says, he's garbage now, unplayable. Everyone said that. So this blame goes not on the developers, goes on the community, because the developers look at us, and the guys in the arcades to please tell us if anything's broken. And everyone's like, Akuma sucks. He's terrible, inconsistent. So of course we don't nerf a character. And then after 2.5 years, Super Akuma wins the tournament, and everyone's like, Akuma's broken. And I mean, I still can't even honestly say he's fully broken, because to play on that level, your execution has to be like top tier. There are so few people that can bring that out of Akuma. So is that Akuma, really broken,
Well, Akuma has such limitless potential, I feel, and he's so different from everyone else. So you can kind of excuse the community for not immediately seeing what he was capable of. He's so different. He plays by his own rules on so many levels, right? And I think this is a good segue actually to one of the other topics we're going to talk about.
Go for it.
Let me bring up the good old PowerPoint. Okay, here we go. Right, our characters in Tekken too similar. And I remember definitely. I read an article or an interview with Harada a few years ago, and I searched high and low for it, but I couldn't find it. But a lot of characters in Tekken have similar tools, and to a degree, they play quite similarly, and that is an intentional design choice, so that players can easily hop between characters, because now you have close to 50 characters and it's intimidating. We talked about this last time. So one way to make that a bit more digestible is to have kind of lots of generic tools between the characters, kind of
generic frame data. It's a big one.
Exactly. Yeah. Jabs are all the same. A lot of characters have pretty uniform punishment options and whatnot. But yeah, punishment options are very rounded. Combo damage is overall similar. Yeah. I mean, some characters obviously do more, but we're not talking any substantial degree here.
No.
So, I mean, there are pros and there are cons to this approach.
Yeah. And I think when you have a roster this big, if you're trying to make every character meaningfully unique, it's going to be very hard.
Yes.
And if you try to make them meaningfully unique, then some are going to end up a lot stronger than others. And so if you fuck with the homogenization of gameplay design in Tekken, you start spreading the tier list out more, which is why it's a difficult question. And if I'm going to be very honest, just thinking about the roster we have right now, if I just pick a random character, whether it's Chloe or whoever, there are a couple of pretty cool, like flavorful signature moves that, they do, elements that you don't necessarily find on a lot of other characters. So I honestly think they're doing a pretty good job. My problem being that I would honestly, I've said this before, want more characters carried toward the center and more homogenization in damage and frame data, because I'm obsessed with balance and I want the game to be as fair as possible,
I want the exact opposite. Yeah. I want Tekken 8. I want a smaller roster for Tekken 8, but more diversity. I'd be happy with 30 characters.
Yeah.
Even 20 something. But if each character is quite different from the other one and they feel unique, I think that makes for a more interesting game, rather than having 50 characters where there are a lot of shared and generic tools and generic and shared game plans.
That's a good point.
I'm with Arya here. I would also love a smaller roster, bigger differences between the characters. And it's true that they are quite similar in many ways. Everyone has unsafe lows and safe mids. You can't really flip that due to the low parry and, well, basically how the game works. But it's still interesting to see that, for example, a Kazuya player might use 5 moves. A Lei player or Shagyu might use 200 moves. And one has a very direct approach, and one has a very tricky approach.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah.
Yoshimitsu, or maybe if you look, I love the guest characters, like Akuma brings his system. Noctis works like a siege tank in StarCraft, where if he can keep you out at a certain range,
like that.
The character works one way. But as soon as you get very close to him, the battle completely changes, and it's a different Noctis, and he crumbles under pressure. So Noctis is a great character when it comes to diversity, and he's forward 2, throws his swords, goes right through projectiles. His standing 2 is like a sword series. A lot of people shit on that character, but out of a design perspective, I think he's super exciting.
You're completely right. They shit on him because of a couple of moves having really annoying properties. But if you fine tune that, there's actually a lot of stuff to love. But I think you bring up something really interesting that I've been talking about in videos since I made my channel, which is that I think if you want a character to be well designed, they have to be good at some things. But if they're going to be very, very good at those, you also have to make them bad at other things.
Of course,
if Noctis has a range that he's very good at, and you want to keep your opponent there, then he has a strategy, and a good player is going to adapt to that, right? And that's why I always felt that King, if he's going to have like the best grappling game and the best and most well-developed throw game by far by any character, he should be crap at a lot of other things. So I kind of wanted characters like that to be less well-rounded and have a niche.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like when you look at the Mishimas, Heihachi, Kazuya, Devil Jin, who's the least interesting out of those? It's people usually say it's Devil Jin because it's all around, whereas Kazuya and Heihachi, the strengths, really are out the stratosphere, and the weaknesses are also huge. Whereas Devil Jin, it's a middle ground, and nothing sticks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A great point. And I just want to chime in and say I agree that a good solution could be a smaller roster. I'm super down with that. I just want the characters to be similar in the sense that the playing field is as level as possible, But a smaller roster, it makes perfect sense. Just that it's difficult to keep on selling the game for 5 years straight if you don't add characters.
Right. Yeah, it's the business model. But I feel right now it's like 49 soon. It's like, how do you lab that? I'm happy we're releasing the frame data. The overlay.
The thing is, when you ask most players who's their most hated character in Tekken 7, almost unanimously, or at least when I was interviewing players at Evo Japan this year, they said meta characters, the quote unquote 2D characters, so like Akuma, Geese.
Purists.
And I mean, let's quickly ask the chat. I mean, who is your most hated character? I'm really curious. Elisa.
A lot of Elisa.
Are there?
Elisa is very annoying.
There's so many Elisa. This is interesting.
You didn't know this? Oh, you got to spend time on Twitch to see this.
Because I play and make some Elisa videos every once in a while because I used to use her, and I used to get like dislikes and comments on them that surprised me. Like the character hate really surprised me.
Right. Wow. No, it's mostly about how she's a very fundamental, poking character, good at many things. But then on the other side, you have a party aspect of a character where with those chainsaws and weird moves, and those chainsaws are like really, really cheesy. You really have to know what you're doing
now.
They're good, really good. Yeah.
In season 3, they're super good. Who's your most hated character, Arya?
We talked about this last time, didn't we?
Just say Eliza.
We both said Eliza.
But is she your bottom pick?
That guy.
I mean, characters I personally find challenging to fight against.
Yeah.
I mean, characters with strong, high crush counter hit moves, because that means I can't back one all day with Steve.
Yeah.
I have to be careful about what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you mentioned King earlier, and when I saw the patch notes for King, and I saw that his the counter hit effect on his down back 3 was going to be changed, I was like, okay. And then season 3 comes along and they buffed it, and I thought,
I was so
no one in their right mind wants it to be buffed.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be that knockdown that Kazumi used to get on her down back 4, where he would have gotten an elbow, basically, people's elbow. But they buff it, and you're like, does it ever end with King? Like, just buff.
Yeah, he's strong, huh?
Yeah. He's very strong. It's very strong. Maybe, could you put him in top 10?
I would.
For sure. Yeah, I think you would.
I think he's around the 10, somewhere in that area. He could be 12, he could be 8. I haven't thought that much about it, but he's not top 5, but he could be top 10.
Yeah, no, I
think he's up
definitely
there.
think so. In comparison with Armor King, who still has, big weaknesses and no really, tools like
no strengths.
King's forward 1. It's like, it's a pretty perfect move.
That's crazy, that move.
It has, literally all the properties, right?
Everything. It controls the space.
Counter hit, mid, homing, right? It's plus. I mean, there's so many things that it does. It's just a bit slow. That's the thing. So
it's not that slow though. When you're Katarina and your only homing move is the 4, which is this lousy piece of crap that comes out after 10 minutes after you perform it.
I saw something very interesting on, it was a Tekken Reddit thread where we're discussing King and Armor King, and someone said, who seemed to know what they were talking about. He was saying some good stuff, and then he said, Armor King definitely has better punishment than King. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like,
isn't it kind of the same for standing?
No, 2-1, yes. Back 1-2, I'll take Kings over Armor Kings any day with the range. And then they both have a hop kick. Kings has better range than Armor Kings. at 15 frames. And with punish, yes, Armor King has a dark upper. But when you look at while standing punishment, Armor King is pretty damn terrible compared to King. His while standing one has the worst hitbox ever on a while standing launcher. And it's what? Is it 16 frames?
But, 16, yeah.
16, but King's full crouch down for 2, it will tag you like 2 meters away.
That move is that move is crazy. Like it's the wake up super of Tekken when you go online, because legit King players will wake up into that launcher like every single time. Just want to say quickly, some people in the chat are asking whether or not we're actually reading the chat, and we definitely are.
We are
looking at everything. So just so you know.
Yeah, Armor King's while standing punishment, he has while standing 4, then absolutely nothing until -15 with his hop kick.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, his while standing one is pretty bad.
It's really bad. And it gets crushed a lot, you know. A lot of characters who have like high crush moves can for some weird reason go under while standing 1. It looks really weird. I've seen so many hop kicks where while standing 1 goes right through the hop kick and you get hop kicked and you're like, something is broken with the hitbox on that move, I think.
Yeah, there's something there. I don't have that much matchup knowledge because he's not that popular in Japan right now. Do a lot of people just do the hop kick from while standing then?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Just
to substitute for the bad while standing launcher, huh?
Yeah, but the hop kick has terrible range. It's one of the worst.
It does for a hop kick. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's and he doesn't really have a major strength to compensate for this. You know, there's nothing that really. Yeah, I mean, the damage from dark upper is he can break 80 even without walls, or hit 80 even. But I mean, his throw game is strong, but it's not the best.
It's supposed to be his throw game, I think. And when you're online, or if you're crap at breaking throws like I am, I think that really does make up for a lot of weaknesses. But when somebody's going to break your throws,
Armor King is an interesting pseudo Mishima who has a wave dash, a dark upper. That's a pretty goddamn big deal. Combine that with a very strong down for 1, down 4 long range low poke, and a throw game that is extremely strong, but not at all on par with King. I mean, he's a very distant second place after King's throw game is just out of this world. So there's a combination of things with Armor King, but still so sluggish often when it comes to mids and keeping up momentum on the opponent. And he got his down for 1+2 homing buffed. That's great because everyone's going to step your throws. But I just still feel like you have to be so ridiculously good with the character to do well. So it's no accident that it's only JDCR who really tries in tournaments with that character.
That's the other thing. If you're going to be that good at Armor King, pick a Mishima or King.
Right. Exactly.
You nailed it.
So he's got I think the main reason I would, because I really like Armor King and I've been sort of curious about maybe picking it up a lot of times, but that's because I just really like the design. I think it's inspired and fun, you know. I love a hop kick and a good downward one.
Yeah. And the most popular DLC by a mile. I think he's the third most played character online overall. He's super popular. And his redesign is amazing, so I'm not surprised.
We talked about character design, like the costumes and the visual updates to the Tekken 7 roster, because we kind of shat on it for a little bit, but it looks really good.
Oh yeah,
for the most part, yeah.
I mean, have you guys seen that mobile game King of Fighters All Star, which is like that crossover between King of Fighters and Tekken?
I saw a trailer for it, yeah.
Yes, and Armor King is in that, which at first I thought, that's weird.
It's like
Armor
7 characters, and one of them is Armor King, right?
Right. So it's like
I actually played
Kazuya, Jin, Heihachi.
Yeah. No, it's pretty awesome, actually. It's the fight mechanics work 10 times better than I thought they would, you know, on a goddamn smartphone. And Armor King is awesome. It's basically like Tekken Force mode. You know, you go down a corridor and there's lots of thugs. And Armor King, you know, you just giant swing and you take out like 20 people at once. So
it's a lot of fun.
Because you hit them with the guy.
No, you hit everyone and they ragdoll everywhere.
That's awesome. That sounds really
no, it's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the roster for it is what TGA streams listed it. There's two Jins. Well, Jin has 2 costumes, 2 Ling, and an alternate costume. Armor King, Heihachi, Kazuya, and Paul. That's the Tekken roster. But they included Armor King. That's an interesting thing with the huge, diverse 50 character lineup of Tekken.
Yeah.
Armor King is on there, which proves his popularity.
Yeah. I bet your ass they asked for like character usage data, and it's like,
oh yeah,
online he's super popular. So
yeah. You know, speaking of online, I don't know if it's the same do you feel like it's like that in Europe where there are trends? Here in Japan, like you'll go online for a month, you see 2 characters.
Yeah, I think I play in higher ranks, and it's always what's the flavor of the month or the meta in the community. As soon as Super Akuma won the mix-up in April, 1 million Akumas, and it's like,
right.
Yeah, and that's kept steady due to the Avaisani phenomenon, Pakistani phenomenon. It's people can't help be inspired, I guess.
It's not just Tekken. It's any fighting game. Whoever won the last big tournament, people are like, wow, that's the character.
Actually, never saw
can win the literal Tekken World Tour against pre-nerf Devil Jin, and nobody's interested at all. And it's a clone character.
Yeah, no one's interested. I've never seen a Panda Wave.
No, there was a weird first when console came out in Japan, when the highest ranked guy online in Japan was a Panda player for the first few weeks.
Oh.
That was really cool. He was the first guy who ever got to Byakko, Season 1 Byakko, before anybody else. So it's a pretty cool rank back then, when the system is completely new.
Sure.
If you went on the online leaderboards, he was the only body who'd ever gone that far. And there was a little bit of a Panda Akuma trend then, but I haven't seen anything for 3 years.
Yeah, and it's honestly, it's so interesting just if you talk about balancing in the game, and how people say, the top tiers are so strong, the low tiers are so weak. But it always follows this trend where some characters, people just have no interest in them, and they might be weak, like Lucky Chloe in previous seasons, Kuma, Panda, not very strong. But when you have a game with so many characters, we're up at 46 soon, and I just note this every time I play ranked, where suddenly I'm playing as the Lucky Chloe, and I'm like, I haven't seen this character in a year, I think. I literally haven't played against it, and suddenly I'm playing against a Finnish player who's really good with Chloe, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And I think, was that probably one of the things going on with Rangchu winning the Tekken World Tour 2018, where Kudans, lands a hell sweep and goes to the other side of Kuma, and he's like, what's going on? What do I do now? It's like, you always
have matchup knowledge,
yeah, and such big move lists.
You probably have a very good point. Like if there were 3 really solid Pandas on the tournament scene around that time, it would probably have gone a lot. It would probably have gone differently. Yeah, I think Rangchu still completely earned it because he blocked so many hell sweeps by like predicting them like a Jedi. So I don't want to take that out of his hands, but.
No one's shitting on Rangchu. He's the best at that.
Yeah.
No one's arguing that.
The 2 things that kind of defined that match was, well, Rangchu just played out his mind for one thing. I mean, the way he was reading Kudans was patently insane. But also, Kudans was having a lot of trouble punishing Kuma's forward 2 properly, which you can do quite easily with Devil Jin's 4-3+4. The springing double kick, and he always went for this really hard, dashing electric wind God Fist, and he never landed it. And so I think he got a little bit greedy there, or maybe it was just a bizarre lack of knowledge. Because Kuma's one, correct me if I'm wrong, is a little bit more unsafe than Heihachi's one as well.
Right? I think it's many, many more minus frames, but it pushes back just a little bit more. But you can dash electric it, but you can't dash electric Heihachi's forward 2.
That's right. That's why he was trying it. Yeah. But,
in
tournament pressure, it's hard.
Tip for people who are watching this for like Tekken tips. One thing that really helped me when I was starting out is when I stopped trying to be perfectionist about stuff, and if I had something solid that I knew would work, to just allow myself to relax and go for that. Not like to have crutches, But if the proper punish that you're obsessing about really wanting to do is that dash in electric and you drop it the first time, don't try it a second time. If you have something that's going to work for it, forward 3+4 is a knockdown. It's solid. You're not going to drop it. You have good Oki with your character. You've got your steel pedal and everything else. So I think when you see players who keep on doing a very, very easy combo and they don't because they don't want to learn the hard stuff, that's a crutch and that's bad. But if I can find something that I know is solid enough and I'm not going to drop it, then that's always what I prefer to go for.
For sure. Consistency above. I always pride consistency above damage. And I think a bit of advice that Fergus gave me actually is that don't always try to go for the launch on a whiff. You think something whiffs, I have to launch it. But no, take what you can get, right? For example.
Great point.
Yeah?
If you have one of those whiff punishers that are completely amazing and built for that, you knock this down for 2, and you're out looking for it.
Yeah, but honestly, just look at
not every character has that.
Just look at the best player in the world, like Arslan Ash. I've never seen anyone play as condensed when it comes to not overextending. Like every time he gets a sidestep on someone, 1-1, and then confirms, boom, the second one doesn't go for a hop kick, doesn't go for launch. He just doesn't want to put himself at risk.
You're talking about
consistent, compact.
Yeah. Jabs and down for 1. Like that's literally it.
So important, consistency. Yeah, for sure. Interesting question is, so a lot of people are saying Paul is busted. Well, I think that's probably a good segue to the next topic, which is our tier lists.
Right.
For this. Now, sorry, I'm going to put on the ugly PowerPoint again for a second. Okay, so here we go. I mean, it's slide 2 on the PowerPoint. And we kind of split it up into 3 categories: tournament, long set, and online, because I think they're fundamentally quite different.
Yep.
Right. It's very hard to settle on a single tier list. These are just my thoughts, by the way, that I put on this PowerPoint. They don't represent Main Man, and they don't represent Fame Whisperer. These are just my thoughts. But I think tournament, what you're looking for is explosive, high damage, low execution, strong comeback potential. Basically, the ability to steal rounds, because every round counts in a tournament.
Right.
Yeah. So
low execution Akuma, though.
Well, yeah, that's his one.
I agree with your point of it is that the Akuma player is so good that they're gonna do what they want to do consistently.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have to have all these points. I mean, low execution, maybe I could erase that one. At that level of play, if you can get down Akuma in tournament, it takes nerves of steel.
Yeah.
But it's just to say, like, playing in a tournament and playing on your couch at home are 2 different experiences, and not everyone can handle tournament. I fall to pieces whenever I play in tournament, especially when I have a stream on me and cameras and lights. It's very different.
Yeah.
And it's experience as well. Dealing with tournament nerves, you definitely learn how to deal with it over years.
But also,
I encourage you. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry about that.
Not at all.
I just heard one tournament player stress the importance of counter hit characters in tournaments, because when people are stressed, people press buttons. And it's interesting to note that a guy said this, Iowa, a Norwegian tournament player, but what makes Steve so good in tournaments? Well, his back 1 and down for 2 in season 2, where people are stressed, people are nervous, and he had the absolute best counter hit tools in the game, and it's so safe as a character.
Yeah.
So no wonder he was so favored in tournaments, because counter hit is a great thing to have in tournaments, and also how safe can you play while still having the chance of scoring as much damage as possible? Steve is great, and Paul is great. Strong counter hit, strong keep outs.
I love everything you said right there so much that it was like difficult to contain myself.
Process.
And I know, like Arya will tell you that right before you came on, Adrian, I said something very, very similar to that.
Stealing credit for my brains.
Yeah.
He's,
Oh, well.
he's,
No, I mean, I was just
I'm already
quoting other
hitchhiking
people,
on your
so.
popularity making this podcast, dude. I'm only here for the YouTube subs. I'm gonna leech off you.
I'm just quoting other people, so that wasn't even my own thoughts. It's cool that you came to that conclusion on your own.
Yeah, I don't. But I wasn't talking about tournament specifically. I was talking about if I had to make the tier list right now, and whenever I've made a tier list for Tekken 7, I've only ever done it for online because I have so little tournament experience, but a lot of online experience, right? So I think that's where I can actually provide some sort of insight. But I was talking about specifically counter hit and risk, and how I currently categorize the characters in the game in 3 categories. It's something that I've started to do since we came into season 3, where like the bottom tier, the weaker characters are the characters that have to expose themselves to constant risk.
Mm-hmm.
The really, really strong
Anna.
like high tier, Miguel, Katarina, you name it, linear characters that have to be punishable, duckable, or very steppable when they want to do their stuff. And then when you get to like stronger characters in the next tier, it's like, for me, Asuka, characters who can stay so compact and safe, and they can do stuff like counter hit mids, and if they connect, it's the round. But if nothing happens, then nothing happens. And then the absolute top tier, where I place Akuma, are the characters who can like no effort break down turtles because they have unseeable tiny pokes and lows that lead to entire combos.
Yeah.
So that's just the way. Yeah, and then it becomes an issue of like trying to place everybody into any of these categories. But I've said this before. I think counter hits and safety are a little bit out of control right now, and I would like to see the stronger characters forced to take more risks.
There was a clear intentional push against the strength of counter hit characters in season 3, and you're right. It's a very strong archetype, a character that specializes in counter hits. It's effectively low risk, high reward.
Yeah,
which, as we said last time, is why Steve has always been at least upper mid tier in any Tekken game, if not absolute top tier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what they try to do, I feel, with a lot of these counter hit characters is they try to give them weaker lows or a weaker mix-up game.
It's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's try to analyze some of the counter hit focused characters. Like Lee is quite focused on counter hits.
Yeah.
Brian, very much a counter hit character. But what is Brian's failing? I mean, he does.
It's like
his execution,
up close poking, and then execution in that if someone's turtling you, which is the way to go versus Brian, all you have is like a hatchet kick that is very steppable to one direction. It doesn't knock down. It's not super scary. And it kind of forces the Brian to suddenly go into very, very high execution stuff, and that, okay, fuck it. It's not even about lows anymore. I'm going to taunt you. That's the next level for Brian, because the lows ain't cutting it anymore. That's when the character becomes super difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Brian's super strong. I would honestly place him quite high. But I think the thing with him, the taunt, the back one, where you can sort of default back to advantage, what the opponent has to do is interrupt that stuff with something that is faster, right? And so if they're scared and you're doing hatchet kicks and they're backwards and they don't want to try and attempt to interrupt him, then he can party all the way to the corner and then it's over.
Right. And up close is pretty difficult with Brian as well, as you don't have a 13 frame down for one with good frames, -1 or 0 to keep people in check. All you have is a down for 2 that's -6 on block. And that
his
one
poking's not
frame
strong.
does such a difference when you're trading up close. So that's also a pretty big weakness. And punishment used to be really bad. The new 12 frame 4-free, excellent. But still kind of lacking in punishment. Of course, at 14 frames, jet upper, while standing punishment, still bad. You've seen this in tournaments lately when Naps plays against characters who have, like, for example, really good lows that are -12. Like Kazumi down by 4. All Brian gets is while standing 4, and it doesn't do a lot of damage, and no crazy frames. So a lot of lows that are -12, like, oh shit, I saw this the John versus Bilal. Marduk's super heavy quarter circle forward 2.
Yeah.
Speaking of counter it, on counter it, that kills you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it has good frames, good damage. All Bilal could do with his Brian was do while standing forward to punish it. It is entirely in Marduk's favor to just keep spamming that shit over and over.
Yeah. I've played a lot of those characters. Miguel is a bit like that. He does get a spark and some decent damage and good range. And then his wild standing 1, which is also 11, he gets +8, which is really big. So I think you're supposed to use that and go for Savage. But when you can't get a knockdown and you can't get damage when people are partying with those good lows. And it's even worse when they have something great that is exactly -12 and you have all your good stuff at 13. A lot of people have good stuff for 13 for while standing. It can be really frustrating when you do those tiny, shitty little while standing force. It's like one of the reasons I've also been curious about Leo since that new Punisher came up, because that looks like fun. Like every time you block a low poke, just giant knockdown move.
Of a while standing for 1+2.
Exactly, yeah.
It hits like a truck. It's incredible Punisher. Stuff like that does demotivate people from spamming lows. But that's again an interesting point in how the characters are a little bit more unique sometimes when we want to give them credit for in how they intertwine with each other, like in the matchups. Like, oh, you don't have a good -12 Punisher. Oh, my character is a super good low that's -12. Whoa, this is
this is going back to that. Well, sorry. This is going back to what we talked about earlier about. I mean, there is clear differentiation between the characters in Tekken 7, but at the moment, it's very much on a micro level. I mean, a novice to beginner would never be able to come and say, "Oh, well, this character has a stronger while standing 11 frame Punisher than this character," and that makes all the difference. You have
to be super into Tekken to know this stuff. And it's.
Max talked about that. He does that hype check series now on his show, and I watched the Tekken episode.
And that was a fun one, yeah.
Yeah, and he talked about how, because he plays all the fighting games, and he analyzes how they're built, and he talked about how if you want to learn matchups in Tekken, because there's nothing to help you, what you do is you play the game for 5 years, and now you know a bit about matchups.
Right.
The biggest break point for me are the characters that can launch 13 from while standing, like Kazuya, Josie, some of the 2D characters, Eddie, because I have a lot of those moves in my repertoire where I force crouch at -13, back 1, 2, 4 from Elisa. And if I run up on a Kazuya online, if I'm playing Elisa, I have to, as soon as I see Kazuya, remember that, because it completely changes the mix up, because I can't finish that string anymore. It's too risky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's interesting little things that happen in Tekken, where depending on the character you're facing, you completely have to change sometimes your game plan, your basic mix-ups. And it's very interesting, but as you guys pointed out, it's to understand where this happens in Tekken, you've been playing the game for many years. And that's to the detriment of the series, unfortunately.
Yeah, and part of its charm.
Oh, definitely.
Probably one of the reasons I still play, because I felt like I was exploring a giant dark cave, and it's fun to discover new things.
Yeah, it is. It's just sometimes when I wonder about someone starting out with the game and soon 49 characters, so many moves, so many properties, it's like, how is anyone supposed to get into this? I've been playing for 24 years. I play Tekken 20 hours a week, but still, so many characters where I can't even give you guys a basic explanation of how they're supposed to be played, because I'm like, it's still a mystery. It's just so much stuff.
Yeah. It's a giant game. For a fighting game where versus is the main game mode, it's a giant game.
Yeah, no, it's like playing. I used to play Dota many years ago, and I was like, okay, I play Tekken, I play Dota. They're both too knowledge intense, so I gotta just play one. So I gave up Dota, even though I really liked it. But it was like both of these basically have to claim all your time. One of them, if you want to get really good.
Right. That's why I dropped Soul Calibur 6.
All right, yeah.
And that also is similar enough to Tekken that you start trying to press a block button in Tekken and then actually. But yeah, it's weird how I used to be this gamer where I played all kinds of different games. I was into horror games, loved that kind of stuff. I was a, MMO player, played World of Warcraft for 10 years. But as I started playing Tekken and then gradually just cut everything else out, and now it's basically only Tekken.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I only play Tekken.
I'm a huge fan of horror games as well. Yeah.
And Aria, how long have you been playing the game?
Well, it depends what you mean by playing it. I've been playing Tekken since the original PlayStation 1 release back in '94. But when did I start really playing it competitively and wanting, had a thirst for knowledge to learn it on a deeper level? Probably around Tekken 5. That's when I started going to arcades in the London scene. And going to locals. And I don't think I really got decent at Tekken until I moved to Tokyo and started playing a lot of Tekken 6, and Bloodline Rebellion had just come out then. This was in 2008. And 2009 actually is when it came out. And I used to go to Joybox in Shinjuku a lot, and competition there was brutal. Yeah, a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing Tekken for 25 years now. 20 years.
If we add our years together, it's a very, very, very elderly citizen.
Right?
Yeah. I only have about
that's
5
kind of
years,
incredible, to be honest. It's kind of incredible just sitting down like this, but like, oh, Arya, how long have you been playing? Oh, 25 years. Oh, me, like 24, 25. It's like, can you just put that into perspective? Someone listening, I bet you someone listening to this is probably like 19 and goes like, what?
Something happened today that was pretty cool. My latest YouTube video I uploaded was on Katarina. And somebody pointed out, Girlanda's super good with her, and I know. And I just answered, yeah, I know, he's amazing. And then I got a random Italian name that I've never heard. Somebody said, hey, thanks. Clicked him. Turns out it's actually Girlanda watching the video. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he's awesome, but he's so good, and he plays one of my characters. And then I looked on his YouTube channel. He doesn't upload, but he had like a couple of videos of him playing Tekken 6, I think 9 years ago, up on the channel. That he did with like a handycam, and it was like, okay, this guy was better than I am now, like 9 years ago, so I don't have to feel bad about my Katarina not being close to his.
Tekken is an ocean. It's an ocean, and the levels of play are just insane. You can go so deep in Tekken.
Yeah, and like what has happened with the competitive scene, like the last 12 months, it's completely transformed. Like new, younger faces everywhere, like Ulsan and many others, and suddenly Pakistanis are joining, and many other nations are suddenly involved, and you just don't recognize it because it wasn't too long ago where it was basically your 4 big name Koreans, mostly JDCR and Ni and Saint. Yeah. And then there was a couple of Europeans, a couple of US players, and that was a Tekken tournament. But these days it's just so diverse suddenly, and it's I mean, it's all for the better, Super exciting.
For sure.
Very good question in the chat. Tin Warrior, do you prefer screw or bounce? Or screw or bound, I think he means.
The mechanic from Tekken 6 and Tag or 7. There are pros and cons. I mean, one thing I never understood about screw is that it's look, what you want to do in a fighting game. One way you want to dissuade a character from being too defensive and using too many backdashes is once your back is to the wall, you should be at a severe disadvantage, right? But with the screw system, actually, the most damaging combos are kind of half in the middle of the screen. That's the danger zone. Right. Like in Tekken 6, the wall combo damage, the wall damage, and the mid-screen damage was closer.
Yes.
But in Tekken 7, it's highly skewed towards landing a combo mid-screen because you can do filler, screw, filler, wall splat, and then your wall combo. That's an optimal combo. So it never really made sense to me on a risk-reward ratio because you want to dissuade a character from backdashing too much. That's your penalty for playing too defensively, is you have your back to the wall.
It's a good point. It becomes a built-in comeback thing because you have positioning disadvantage, but if you launch,
right?
Unless you're Geese, because he just splats his opponent on the wall there again, so then he turns them around and he splats them on the other one too.
Yeah. I think I personally think, because I know they got a lot of complaints for this in Tekken 6, they didn't want the game to be another. I mean, now they've raised the damage with each season, but originally with Tekken 7, I think they wanted to get away from the 2-hit dead model where you launch someone, take them to the wall, big wall combo, might use a bound, in that.
Yeah.
You got to know that, for example, if Lee, can take someone to the wall with his back twos in Tekken 6 or Tag 2, then you can always bound and do the optimal wall combo. Whereas in Tekken 7, you're basically sometimes running in after a very long wall travel tool, and you can't bound, and it can be hard to do the maximum damage. But also, and a bigger point is that these days you can't, do your wall combo and then they tech roll and you do a second mix-up and wall splat them, and then bound, for enormous damage, and then the wall combo. In the previous games, it was like 2 hits and you're fucked. If they tag you when you're tech rolling at the wall, here comes a big ass bound, kablam, and then the optimal wall combo, blah, 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 and it's
and back catches in Tag 2, man. Oki was stupid in that game. That was an entry barrier, I think, for new people, because if you got knocked down, you couldn't get back up because people could just play with you.
Oh god, Tag 2, like Ryan, big combo, da 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 dam, and then here comes the reset, down back 2, and then you bound again, tag assault. Blah.
Yeah, I think I would prefer a system that they tried out, a system that had neither bound or screw, and
like Tekken 5.
No, I was going to say, because I didn't play Tekken 5, but I played Revolution, which is weird, obscure little thing. But I think the reason they took the bound out of that game is because they thought combo damage was too high in Tag 2, so they wanted to try what would happen.
Right.
And I think so. You launch somebody and you had to sort of keep on juggling them without ever resetting the combo, which was honestly surprisingly enjoyable. I really liked it. I think the reason it's difficult is the bound or the screw somewhere in the combo kind of normalizes it, and it becomes easier to normalize damage. But if you have to juggle them with no reset, then characters like Kunimitsu, Katarina, Lars, who are just constantly flying forwards with stance and stuff, become very good at that. And characters that who don't have that design might not be able to combo. So I was thinking maybe you could do something with how the damage gets scaled down in combos, make it scale down a lot more dramatically to normalize them, and then we could have shorter, lower damage combos. But the reason I feel like that is because I honestly think that combo damage is way too high in the game right now. I honestly think it's quite above where I would like for it to be. So some sort of way to bring it back down would be cool for me.
I think high combo damage is a key element of what makes Tekken tick. It what gives it tension, because it's at its system base, it's a very defensive game. As we mentioned last time, you have a backdash, and you can block during that backdash. And so when you open someone up, you want to make it hurt, right? Lows generally in Tekken are quite high risk, low reward. Lows aren't very strong. And you also have, again, you can backdash while blocking. So I think if the game had low combo damage, it would void it of a lot of its tension. And people, when they play Tekken, it's a tense game, and that's what makes it exciting. My main issue with the combos, and I remember when Tekken 6 first came out, it wasn't just the damage that people were upset by, it was the length of the combos, just how long you were inactive. And we've kind of grown accustomed to that being a feature of Tekken since, well, for the past decade now. But I don't think it has to be that way. I mean, what would you guys think if the combo system in Tekken was something like Virtua Fighter, where it was more grounded?
I would prefer it. I mean, some of the least enjoyable games I ever had online were against Season 2 Geese, because he didn't struggle to launch you, but then you were watching a movie. This is a completely true story. I promise you this is not made up at all. I was sitting right here playing this geese guy, and I got the reversal where he turns you around and he gets guaranteed stuff, and the wall was there. So as soon as it hit, I knew I was going to get comboed, and I actually got up, went to the bathroom, peed, washed my hands, came back, sat down, picked up the controller by the time the combo ended.
Right.
And I got and I got KO'd, so it wouldn't have mattered if I'd stayed, you know.
Right, but
it was so
I have some experience in this field. I do sometimes first to freeze with my subscribers, and I play always geese, and I get to pick the stage. So I take his stage, and I like to do some combos on them, sometimes death combos. And I actually clock these as I edit these, and for the most part, they are about 20 to 25 seconds.
That's way too long.
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, it's almost half a minute of you being in the air, and they just tell me
the average round is not like 30 seconds. The average round is like 30 seconds.
It's pretty remarkable that is in Tekken, you know, because usually we think a combo 5-6 seconds, but it can actually last almost half a minute. But that's in very particular circumstances, but it's still there. So yeah.
I mean, I think it's part of what it's clear that Tekken over the years has tried to include more and more different types of audiences. When you look at the roster of Tekken 3, it's quite focused and honed. There's a very clear design to it. And since then, we've had different types of characters. Let's be straight about it. You've had a lot of anime style characters recently, and clearly they're trying to diversify the audience. And combos in the fighting game community are a point of contention. Some people really dislike long combos. Some people prefer shorter combos. There's a wide variety of opinions on that. But for some people, long combos is what draws them to the game. There's an artistry for sure to long combos. So I think, and besides that, it's free promotion on Twitter, it's free promotion on YouTube, combo videos and whatnot.
Exactly.
So it reaches out to a new type of audience having long combos, and I don't think they're going to go anytime soon.
It's always spectacular seeing 60% of someone's life bar just being evaporated like that. Yeah,
and it's really fun to learn. That's a big one for me. It's really fun to learn combos.
Yeah. No, and I mean one of the new visual effects, in Tekken 7 is really highlighting when someone hits a big combo, because this is the first game where you actually always see the life bar in red as the combo progresses. Like, look how much he's losing, and sparks come from the life bar and it shakes like boom, 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 boom. It's so it's absolutely a key feature. Like, look at this big ass combo.
Yeah, probably one of the reasons, honestly, because I think Tekken is addictive. Not necessarily always in a healthy way for me, because sometimes I would play it, and if I'm not doing well or whatever, it makes me feel bad, but I still play it. Which is something I'm trying to deal with. But I think that's something that a lot of people have with this game. It's kind of one of the things I've been trying to do with my channel, is kind of, be there for people who feel shitty about the game but don't want to give up. But you get dopamine hits, or, I'm not a neuroscientist, but there are chemicals that fire in your brain and reward you for certain behaviors that become very addictive. And I think dealing big damage in Tekken is a big one. It really puts you on edge, and it gets exciting, and I think that's another reason new players get addicted to Snake Edge, is because it's an easy, quick fix of giant damage. It only has to hit,
Well, this is a good point. I think there are so many false leads to get into Tekken. You imagine you're a beginner player. You think, okay, so what's getting me my wins? What's getting me success?
Yeah.
You hop online, you see some success with Snake Edge, and you think, okay, so this must be a pretty good move.
Yeah.
And then you run into a wall pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And it's very disorientating, the road to becoming strong at Tekken, and there's no signposts in the game.
No.
There's
only great YouTube channels like Blast and Salami and Main Man Sui.
And Mr. Frame Whisperer. Come on.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
But
I try to keep up.
Yeah, I just see that we don't have that much time, and I'd just be super interested in hearing you guys blurt out, just don't think too much about it, but top 10 season 3. Arya, do you want to start?
I wrote a list, and I'm gonna write top 10. I'm gonna write characters. I'm gonna say characters who just seem really strong to me. And I'll just keep going in order. Akuma, Dragunov, Julia, Paul, King, Brian, Alisa, Kazuya, Jin, Devil Jin, Steve, Law, Marduk, Bob, Heihachi, Kazumi, Asuka, Shaheen, Geese, Hwarang, Leo, Master Raven. Now, you guys mentioned Negan, and I'm not quite decided about him yet, but maybe Negan there too.
Okay. It's a lot of characters.
There's a lot of characters. There are a lot of strong characters in this game. Yeah.
No, but that's a great. I mean, that's
no,
the top tier or the high tier has always been very big with this game.
Definitely. So, Frame, do you agree with that list? Would you remove someone, add someone, or?
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of the characters, obviously, but I would remove and add. I can't make a top 10 off the top of my head, but I think Kazuya is in there, Akuma is in there. I think Negan is definitely in there for me. I also think Law is, and Dragunov is. I think King is probably in there. Did I mention Paul? And I think and I think
the more you think, the more you want to add. That's the thing.
And then I think Shaheen is in there as well. And then there are a couple of characters where I feel like there might be seriously underexplored potential for, stuff. But that was 8 characters. But those are 8 characters. I think I think if I had to make a top 3, it'd be Akuma, Negan, Kazuya, probably.
Negan.
Akuma, Negan, Kazuya. Not Dragunov.
Not Dragunov, but I mean, he's up there. He's obviously up there. I think because this is the thing. This gets so biased, which is why it's a difficult thing to say. And for me, I do really well against Dragunov, mainly because I've played against the characters so much that I can smell down to at this point.
Right.
I can physically smell it. Like I low parry it all day because the Dragunov players tend to play in a very similar way. So I think on paper, it's one thing, but my success rates and how I feel about their strength online might be different than some of the weakest characters tend to be characters I play a lot. And that's obviously another flavor of bias,
Right.
But what do you
because
think,
when you play... no, I kind of agree with many of your picks. I find yours one to be a little bit controversial. Like Kazuya is really strong, but due to consistency, I would place him definitely in top 10. But I don't think I would place him in top 3. I would probably say Akuma, Dragunov, and maybe there's so many characters that come on the next step where you're like, it could be either one of these, but pretty much what Arya said, like Alisa really stands out. And we were supposed to talk a little bit about hyperbole as well in the FGC. Steve is dead. Steve is dead. And it's like, Steve is absolutely still a monster.
Oh, he's doing fine.
Yeah, he's super strong. But Law is really strong, and he's also kind of a dark horse. No one pays attention, but he's super strong. Shaheen is super strong. Geese is still very strong. Kazumi. Jin is still a monster. Also, everyone cries, Jin, down back 4, forward 4. He's dead. He's dead. And it's like, he's super good. In season 3, he was too perfect.
Completely agree.
But I just wanted to stress with Negan that I also think he's really strong now. But it's like where he just about maybe squeezes into the top 10. But it's so early, and it's up the top of the head. So, but he's so
cool that we feel differently about it. And I think, I eat shit against Kazuya a lot, and you obviously play him, so there's always going to be. But do we all agree that Akuma is top dog?
It's just his tools on paper are just completely absurd, and then it turns out there are a few people in the world who can live up to what's on the paper, and then it's just it's out of this.
There's
world.
always someone out there who can realize that potential. I mean, look, on paper, characters like Kazuya, Brian, and Law, these 3 characters are broken too, but I think their executional demands are a bit past what humans can achieve. Like Kazuya can launch punish at -13. Good luck, mate. Law can counter hit launch off a while standing 4. again, good luck. I mean, I've seen low high do that once in a tournament.
Yeah.
Brian, if you can do consistent taunt gen upper, that's the most realistic one out of the three, actually, to do consistent taunt. But I think Akuma is right in that position where he has incredibly powerful tools, and they're just on the cusp of what is feasible by a human.
I think that's a great point, and that actually summarizes the power of Akuma. Like, everyone says he has the hardest execution in the game. He definitely doesn't. Like, Kazuya is higher. It's just that the perfect Kazuya is not achievable by a human being. An AI can do it. You know, minus 13 standing, minus 13 crouching. He can electric both of those. You know, he can electric minus 13.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah, due to misstep. You know, so it's like if an AI plays godlike, but a human being can't do that. Whereas with Akuma, it's super hard, but human potential is there, you know?
I completely agree. And this is one of, to me, like the most interesting questions in all of like Tekken game design. It's a video that I've been writing for the 2 years I've had a YouTube channel, and I've never quite figured out what angle I sort of want to have on it. But when you balance a character and you want to give them something really, really, really strong, and you make the justification for that power and that strength that it's difficult to do, is that a good way to design something like that? And the people who develop Tekken obviously think so, but it's kind of like, okay, if nobody had achieved the level of Akuma play that we see right now, and nobody would know that he's that good, and nobody would worry about it. But then a couple of people do achieve that level, and now it's a giant problem because that's the way you choose to balance. And so I kind of feel like with Tekken, one problem that crops up is you get great Mishima players. Like, nobody's going to do the frame perfect electric every time, but there are people who can do consistent actual electrics very, very well because they've been playing the game for 24 years and so on. And so, the electric is difficult to do, but after 24 years, it's not as difficult as it used to be for them, and not necessarily as like I'm.
The level of play is always getting higher.
I'm struggling with how I want to put this, but I kind of feel like, okay, if you work really, really hard at practicing something difficult for a year, then we're just going to give your character a launcher. We're going to make your character's standard launcher a frame faster to impact. If you sit in the cupboard for a year,
that's exactly what we've done.
Do you know what I mean? So it becomes a little bit of an interesting argument. So, like you said, Kazuya, you can't do the frame perfect electric. Brian, you can't do taunt jet upper all the time.
Yeah.
So
but it's just speaking of human performance. You know, in a tournament, much better to have a classic just down for 2. You know, pull down for 2, 15 frames, no execution, or jack down for 2. Just super reliable. It's impervious to stress and nervousness. You can always just hit that. It always comes out at 15 frames. Whereas you can see cooldowns sometimes drop a minus 15 electric because it's just not feasible to hit that 100%.
I think Paul's
that was a question people were asking. His down 4-2 is crazy. The way it goes under jab sometimes. It's unique in that sense. That's the question.
It clicks you like 10 meters away.
Sometimes like something falls off a shelf in my room, and I'm like, okay, somebody like across the street must have done down 4-2 with Paul.
No, the thing is, it's a viable strat to stand far away and do down for 2, down for 2, down for 2. It's actually quite hard to get in.
It works for low high Shaheen too.
Yeah.
Very powerful keeper. All generic down 4-2s, if a character has one, it's one of their best moves. Always top 10 on their top 10 move list.
Because they're safe,
top down 4-2, You know, they're a safe mid launch. I mean, what do you need? They're 15 frames.
That's dirty. I mean, those are the dark arts. Fucking safe mid launchers. I don't fuck with demonic shit like that.
Yeah. On the topic of execution, though, this we should probably talk about this next time. This is opening a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
But I remember when the cross up was kind of unveiled, there was this big debate on Twitter about how heavily should execution weigh in balancing.
Yeah.
And clearly, Bandai Namco do see execution as a factor.
Yeah.
Clearly, the electric is a just frame for a reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they want to reward you putting in the grind time in the training room. And I've seen some game developers say, no, it shouldn't be like that. And I've seen the opposite opinions as well. Yeah. Again, a big can of worms that we probably shouldn't open right now.
They have to get it to where it's difficult enough that it's difficult every time.
Right.
But it's still reliable enough that you want to bring it out when the stakes are high. And that's such a sweet spot. And I think the reason electric is this compelling move that a lot of people are drawn to, the signature move of the
shoots lightning
is because the electric kind of rides that line kind of well.
Yeah, and it's so. I always saw something beautiful about the electric is that the motion even feels like a bolt of lightning. I always thought that was kind of poetic in a way.
Yeah. You know what I did? I went into practice mode once with Kazuya. It's the only time I've selected the character in my life, ever. And because I wanted to practice electric just to see what it was like. The first time I got one, I was like, it was like, there's a pull there.
Yeah,
it's like the first time you hear death metal. It's dark and straight, but there's a gravitation where, oh god, this feels kind of nice, and I just kind of want to fall into it. But I managed to.
You felt a little bit better about yourself, didn't you?
It was tickling my body.
I'm also a good person. I have honor now.
Yeah,
I clearly remember.
I ranked up my Elisa.
I clearly remember the first time I listened to death metal. And I clearly remember the first time I did an electric. Yeah. I did an electric with Kazuya. It was Tekken 5. It was in the Namco Center in London. And my friend, his name was Tom, was like, did you know that Kazuya could do this just frame thing? I'm like, what? And I did it. I was like, oh my God, wow, that's pretty cool. And I didn't know what was so special about it.
Yeah, and it's like, come over here.
Yeah, that was the pull.
Yeah.
And as for death metal, it was not death metal, but just metal. It was Ride the Lightning by Metallica that introduced me to it. So classic.
That's a portal a lot of people fall through. I think they were sort of this is again another giant can of worms, but sort of the Black Sabbath of our generation,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, a lot of death metal fans in the chat. Mayman, do you have to dash soon? Because we put a soft limit of 2 hours on this, and I know you're a father with many responsibilities.
Maybe in 20 minutes, I'm probably going to have my girlfriend kick down the door. Probably.
Start winding down, but
Okay. Well, we had an interesting topic of conversation for this time. We talked a bit about how cool Lars would sound in Swedish. And I guess this is Mayman, this can be your interview, I guess.
My
for
your breakthrough.
Yeah, your impromptu interview for Swedish Lars. Hopefully if Harada ever listens to this for Tekken
8. If you got hired to be the voice actor for
Tekken, we have
that would be the coolest thing ever. That would be so much fun.
Oh yeah, I would throw in a mask all over the place. But we actually have 2 Swedes, so we can both have a shot at this.
Oh wow.
Okay, first one is you think you can stop me, and in Japanese that's orevo tomer. Can you pronounce this?
Oreo tomeraruka. All right, go for it. You.
I think in Tekken 7 it's oreo tomeru koto wa dekinai.
Oh, holy shit.
And in the Tekken Tag 2 version, it's oreo tomerareru ka, that's my Lars impression, but it's in Tekken Tag 2 it's do you think you can stop me, and I think in Tekken 7 it's you can't stop me. He grew bigger balls during the
Is that the one where he kind of does the chest grab and kind of rubs his nipples?
Yeah.
Oh,
the nipple rub. We should do this every time you say a Lars
quote,
you should.
But why doesn't he speak Swedish? It would give him so much more personality.
Much character.
They fucked up. It wouldn't be that hard to get a goddamn Swede. Frame Whisperer, for God's sake, lives in Tokyo. He's over there.
I'll do it for free, Namco. If you fly, I'll do it for free.
Okay, so you think you can stop me? 俺を
Uh,
止められ
tror du att du kan
るか
stoppa mig? That's for Swedish. Tror du att du kan stoppa mig? That's for Swedish pronunciation. You want to do it, Frame Whisperer?
Tror att du kan stoppa mig?
Oh God! I just
So
shit
casual.
myself. Yeah.
It's Sweden is like Swedish is not good for sounding cool. There's some beautiful like poetry and stuff in Swedish, but for one-liners, it doesn't really work.
No, come on. You say that because you're a Swede. I mean, it's always like that.
I know it's self-consciousness. Yeah.
It's. I think it's kind of cool Swedish, to be honest. It really has its own little. What's
Cadence?
it called? Tone or whatever.
Yeah.
But the next one is I'm finished here.
こちらは片付いた
Jag är klar här.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, one more time?
Jag är klar här.
Damn it. Really good. Okay, let's go.
さあ、始めよ
God, how would you pronounce that, Frame Whisperer? Okay,
Vad gör vi? Nu kör vi.
Okay, that sounded corny. Okay, nu kör vi. But that's probably it. Yeah. We have injured. Send a medic. That's a long one.
You take the Japanese Frame. Yours is way better than mine.
Do you want to do this one in Japanese?
Yeah.
負傷者が出た。
負傷者。
手当てしてくれ。
God damn
Beautiful.
it, you're good. Jesus.
His Japanese is amazing. It's like native level. It's
Yeah, it does
ridiculous.
sound like native. It's not like I have a perfect ear for Japanese, but it sounds very intimidating at least.
That's very nice. You're making me blush.
Can you translate medic, please, Frame Whisperer, into Swedish?
There's no medic. It says teate shite kure, which is teate is first aid. So he's saying we have injured. Please give them first aid. Please, he's saying to his subordinate, please. Gör första hjälpen. So he doesn't actually say send a medic. He just says somebody help them. Somebody take care of them.
So you would translate this into ge första hjälpen.
Ja, vi har skadade. Jag vet inte. Gör något åt det.
Okay, so vi har skadade. Ge första hjälpen.
Exakt. That's perfect.
Okay. No, wait. I'm on my phone. Yes, that's correct.
But we have injured because you punched them to death, Lars. You fucking do it.
But then he has the compassion, to call 911, and that's he's a nice guy. He's Swedish.
Yeah.
It's actually Noctis on the other end fishing. I'm fishing.
Noctis, I just broke this guy's throat with my lightning hand.
Yeah.
Please send the medic.
Can you fix his breathing pipe or whatever it's called?
Windpipe. That's a weirdly brutal move for Lars. I always thought his counter hit back four. It always seemed kind of out of character. It's so cool, but it's crazy. It just breaks your neck.
But have you seen his back throw? He
He snaps you in half.
Yeah, he snaps you in half. It's like he's supposed to be the protagonist of Tekken 6. The good guy. Root for him. Okay, just broke that guy in half. It's like you don't see Tom Cruise do that in every movie.
There are a couple of those. There's a winning animation for Brian where he won't stop hitting you, and the sound keeps going after the screen goes black.
Yeah,
and then you hear him unzip his pants.
In the earlier games, that win pose, Brian, where he beats them, the cameras were actually a little bit more zoomed out so you could see the opponent. And whenever it was a female character, that wouldn't float in 2019.
It gets dark, yeah.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
But you also don't want
iconic,
Josie crying on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dark avenue there.
Yeah.
All right, so there's two more to go. There's nowhere to run. Give up. Let's hear the Nihongo.
Okay, I'm gonna get into character. This is my Lars impression. This is my Lars impression.
Oh Jesus! Why the fuck weren't you casted?
Don't be ridiculous.
Okay. Det finns ingenstans att springa. Ge upp!
Exactly. That's exactly how I would translate it.
That is awesome. I would love to hear him say that.
People in the chat who don't speak Swedish, does it sound cool?
We're gonna say it sucks because it's me, but everyone inside, everyone knows that was super awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah, come on. Arya
It's the language of Vikings. It's the language of Vikings, man. I mean, I always thought it was weird how he spoke Japanese. I mean,
yeah. It's I really expected him to speak Swedish when he was announced, but then of course we only got the picture and the name Lars Alexandersson, and everyone was so hyped in Sweden. And then first trailer he speaks Japanese, and I still remember how upsetting that was. And
I can't believe how excited I was when I saw there's a Swedish Mishima in Tekken. I was like, no way.
Yeah, it was so cool. Yeah.
But this is not to put down the voice actor for Lars at all. He does a fantastic job. I think he puts a lot of character into it. But I just think they picked the wrong language.
Yeah, no, they did.
Yeah. All right. So last one. これを止めることはできない. All right, go for it. Go for it. You do it. You do it, Frame. You're much better.
俺を止めることはできない.
There's no way you can stop me.
That's really good. I'm a bit unsure about this one, so Frame Whisper can correct me, but det finns ingen chans att du kan stoppa mig.
That's exactly how I do it too. Okay. There's no easy way to translate it. Yeah, there's no chance of you stopping me. Pretty much the
No, it's like please, Harada. Swedish.
We have two Swedes right here.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll
Tekken Masters.
We'll do it for free.
Yeah, we'll give you a massage as well.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, if we just get to voice him,
I'd massage a rod if I got to be a voice actor in Tekken 8. That's easy. I'm good too. I'm really
We go there and we bribe them. We'll do it for free. Frame Whisper gives Harada a back rub, and I go and I get McDonald's orders for the entire office.
We crowdfund that as well.
Oh yeah. And we fund, between us three, we fund a new DLC character.
Sounds like a plan.
What would we make for a DLC character though?
Lucky Chloe's uncle.
An Iranian character, so I can get in. I want an Iranian character so I can get in that back massage club.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, because Shaheen is Arabic, of course, and you speak Farsi, right?
I do. I speak Farsi with a really kind of foreign accent because actually I grew up in the UK, so it's kind of learned, right?
Well, now you're gonna have to say 1, 2. Hey, you want to try me, Gov, in your best London accent.
Well, the thing is, they had an Australian actor to do Steve, like in Tekken 5 or something.
Originally, I think,
yeah. Which is always bizarre. I mean, if I could voice Steve, that would.
You can do it.
My dreams.
Oh, come on.
It would be bizarre, but I think his current voice actor is really good. So just leave it at that.
It's pretty thick, the accent. Yeah. Hey, you want to try me, Gov?
Hey, you want to try me, Gov?
I think Miguel is fantastic.
Oh, his voice acting is one of the best.
Yeah.
It's so passionate.
Yeah, and the Spanish, it's beautiful.
Did you see Katarina's voice actress on Twitter?
No, I'm scared to look because I have to go to Brazil.
She actually looks a bit like Katarina as well.
Oh, don't tell me that.
She does.
Oh, you're kidding.
Her name's
she looks a bit like Katarina. Okay.
She really does. Yeah. Does
she have a tramp stamp? Because I'm all about tramp stamp.
I don't think she has any tattoos. I mean, guys in the chat, if you have a Twitter link to her page, we could.
You probably have a lot of thirsty boys now in the chat looking up this lady.
Yeah, and you have one on the podcast.
She seems like a really cool person. Her name's
keep them up there at all times.
Her name's Thais. My Portuguese is non-existent, but it looks like Thais Durais. Thais Durais. How do you pronounce that? I'm not sure.
Can somebody link it in the chat so I can click it?
There we go.
This is going to be meat spin.
Hold on, I'm gonna. And she had a video recently. Where she kind of introduced herself to the Tekken community. Hold on, let me play this.
Damn, she did?
That's cool. I wish I would have seen that. I would have embraced her, not literally.
Hold on. let me put this in the Discord chat, and you
Oh
guys
yeah,
can see, and
please. I also want to check this out.
and I also play it for the stream. Hold on.
But who is the longest now currently active voice actor in Tekken?
I have no idea. I mean, has the same guy been doing Heihachi the whole time?
Oh no,
No, he died. He died,
two
actually.
two of them have died.
Yeah,
The
two of them
original,
have died.
who did him for ever since Tekken 3, I think. He died, and then a guy took over for Tag 2, and then that guy died as well.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, it's super tragic.
I had no idea. Is it because they got actual old people?
Let's just pause this for a sec while we go over the voice actress. I just want to play it to the stream so everyone knows what she sounds and looks like. It's actually quite remarkable.
Ei, vem aqui. Deixa eu te testar para ver se você luta de verdade. What's up, Tekken Emperor followers? All good? I'm Thais Durens, I'm from Brazil, and I'm the voice of Katarina Alves from Tekken 7. I'm about to start my training right now. What about you? Do you play for good? Because if you don't, eu vou chutar sua bunda até a morte. Volta correndo para sua mamãe. Bye guys, see you in battle. Hey.
Portuguese is such a beautiful language.
It's beautiful.
Such a lilt to it.
Yeah.
Right?
I would take Thais the Rice up for Thai rice.
Jesus.
No.
Christ.
No. Just no.
Frame whispered you, what do you think? Well, I'm going to play some Katarina after this. No, I'm joking. I just think I think it's really cool that she's shouting out the Tekken community and stuff.
She seems like a very classy lady.
If people like her, then maybe that's one of the few chances Katarina has of staying in the roster. So
she seems really, really cool.
Yeah, no, she seems super nice, and nice that she's reaching out to the community. Have many other voice actors done this in the Tekken circles?
I don't know. I've met some of those the models. Like I've met the official Lily a couple of times here in Fukuoka. The girl always shows up at the events.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. Many years ago, the voice actor for Jack did like a video where he introduced himself. He looked a bit like Jack, and he said "ramp romp" a lot.
There's a voice actor for Jack. I thought that was just a blender.
No, sorry, my poor attempt at a joke here. But
no, it was so good that you got me. I was like, wow.
If he was sitting there in like cardboard boxes, but he has painted on like electronics on to get into character, it's a method actor.
Yeah, I get it.
I like that a lot.
I heard a rumor, and I'm not sure if this is true, but that Harada did the voice for Martial Law in Tekken 1.
He was actually Law's voice actor for a long time, longer than you think.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
I think isn't it like Tekken 2, Tekken 3?
Maybe because he has the same kind of. He does like that kind of really ridiculous, hammed up Bruce Lee kind of voice.
I think he did it for a long time. Yeah.
But I think he doesn't do it anymore because he's grown older and he physically isn't capable anymore. His vocal cords have kind of grown gruffer over time. I think they stopped at Tekken 6 maybe using Harada for Martial Law.
Yeah, no, I think he did Jack as well for a long time.
Oh, really?
That's funny.
Or he runs at the camera. They actually had him run at the camera, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just a lot of classic old sound clips. I really miss them, like King's old sounds from Tekken 3. It sounded more like deep, like a real lion.
It's kind of scary. Yeah. It was really guttural and kind of more lo-fi. Now he actually sounds like a jaguar, but it was more distinct in some of the older games, which is why there are these mods that have like Tekken 2 King in your Tekken 7.
Exactly. Oh, thank God, the modders, they deserve a shout out. How much content have they made for the PC version? It's like
it's incredible. Incredible. Yeah. Okay.
I'm probably gonna have to leave now.
Let's wind down. This was fun though.
For sure.
Monsters at the door. Yeah, it was super pleasant. And I almost
as always.
Not apologizing, but I was a bit low energy last time. These good gentlemen here had to carry it.
I was too high energy. It was another problem.
Me too. I was like chugging Red Bull. I was super nervous. I was hopping around all over the place. This felt a lot more comfortable and chilled.
And definitely. So big thanks that I can be part of this. It's a great honor for me.
It's a real honor.
These
Likewise,
a shitload. Watch their stuff a lot. So
honor is
really
all mine.
Thanks for a really pleasant conversation.
Thank you, man.
No,
it was great.
Thank you.
Joe Rogan's in trouble now.
For sure. Sweating buckets. And thank you to the chat for tuning in.
Definitely,
guys. If you want to make a shout out for your own channels, I mean, this is.
I'm just gonna say that I do a solo podcast where I don't talk about fighting games or Tekken. I just talk about random stuff that I've been thinking about that probably doesn't sound very interesting. But I've done 3 episodes. I'm working on the 4th right now, which is going to be on the origins of obscure words. If that sounds like the kind of thing you might want to spend 40 to 45 minutes listening to, then it's called Frame Whispers. It's up on my channel, and there's 3 episodes so far.
I say this in the best way, but there's a real stream of consciousness vibe to it, and it just sounds like it's just coming right off the cuff, and you're really going into some really kind of internal places with it.
Yeah, but that's the one place where I decided I'm just going to completely say what I think and feel and not edit it that much at all. And then it turns out that, because I thought people were going to call me, strange, and some do, but then it turns out that it's also something people respond to in a way that's really interesting and genuine. So they're my favorite videos I make. I demonetize all of them, and then they're just for the few people who watch the channel for me, and that's a small group, but they're out there, and so I wanted to do something for them.
Sorry, man. I interrupted you earlier. You're gonna.
No, God, no problem. I had no idea you did that. Just heard about it, and sounds very, very interesting. But yeah, I'm supposed to talk about my channel, or yeah, I do YouTube and Twitch. I do very opinionated content, I guess, on Tekken, and I try also to become. I'm trying to become a very competitive player, but yeah, it's difficult. So that's my journey. But mainly just talking about Tekken and giving my thoughts on the game, like I've done with these gentlemen here this fine evening.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute honor.
Thank you,
both of you here, as always.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Thank you. And for
by the way,
all the technical stuff, like Jesus, I don't know. I know what that's like.
Well, I kind of fluffed up on the technical stuff this time, but by the way, in 2 weeks I will be in Thailand, so maybe Wavedash 3 will be in. Maybe it'll be delayed by a week. I don't know how we'll go about that, but yeah, I'm going to TWT Finals. So
you lucky bastard.
Sorry, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've never been to Thailand before. I'm super excited. I'm gonna meet so many cool people, and I can't wait to play these people and meet them and watch the event. I'm pumped.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have a blast. Yeah, I hope you record a lot of content, and the interviews you did at Evo Japan were just amazing. It really was like the best FGC interviews I've ever seen, I think. So if you can do more of those, would be thumbs up.
I will be. I want to do kind of like a little video on the whole event and the Thailand scene in general. Maybe put some Sagat music from Street Fighter on top of it or something. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Have a great time.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it.
Take care, Lars.
Good night.
Enjoyed it too. Good night.